Neat stuff, neat stuff.
Morning, glad you guys came back for another week. Well, we're in Northeast Missouri on a little trip. Something I'm very happy to say we're traveling again. Well, today we're going to talk about water connections. Now, as you go to campgrounds, you're going to see a couple different types. Mostly down in the south, they're the stick up in the air pole type. But you'll find some in the north that are actually down in pits. There's a few of them that are actually like doubles, where they actually have two hose bibs sticking out, but most of them are just singles. So the first thing I like to talk about is get yourself a splitter. Get yourself a splitter, and the best ones are the ones that actually have an on and off on each one, so that you can use it and you can have a second hose if you need to. When you split it and you have to go to your fresh water and then you go to your black tank, you have a way to do it without unhooking and hooking, which leads me to the very first thing that I always do when I go to a spot. I take my Lysol and I spray my connection. Number one, it's been out in with who knows what happened. I've actually seen people washing their black hoses out right on top of it. And so to me, it's just a good idea. Just give it a spray down. And then I put my splitter on there. After the splitter, I put a pressure regulating valve on there. Now I have the one that actually tells you what the pressure is, and it's adjustable. It's got a screw where you can adjust the pressure that's going through. They have them without a gauge, but it's strongly recommended. I've known people that didn't have one on there, and they got in an area where the park had way too much pressure and they blew some water lines inside their trailer. And every one of my hoses are quick connects. So once I hook up to it, you figure out, which I'm probably in the middle, and I should have started this at the beginning. You really need to figure out to make certain you've got enough length. I've got like a 20-footer and a 10-footer, so I can go 30 foot in that way. But sometimes you can use a 10-footer. Sometimes you can use a 20-footer. Sometimes you got to use both of them. But again, they're quick connected, so that all you do is hook them together, and then you hook the water filter, which is kind of the last thing I put before it goes in the trailer, and then I hook it to my trailer. I always had to screw it in to the connection point at the trailer, because when I put a quick connect nipple on that, it stuck out too far. I couldn't even get the door shut on my utility bay, little compartment that I had. So I got to looking at it and decided, well, there's some way I can do this. And the part it was very long, and I thought about trying to see if I can get one that's smaller, because all I needed to do was get about a ½ inch in, and then I could put a quick connect on it, and it'd work every time. So I took it apart, and I looked, and I shopped, and this and that, and the big problem is it's got a check valve on the inside of it. So I really couldn't find anything that was different to make it shorter. So we went the opposite way, and where it connected to the back of this utility box, I bought little spacers, little ½ inch spacers, and I bought longer screws. So I put the spacers behind it, which backed it up and allowed me to put the nipple on it. Now, it did cause one problem, because the handle that you have that turns it from city water to fill your freshwater tanks, it was hanging up on the screws. So I just took a little roto drill and I grounded out the edges of it so that it would slide on there. One main thing about the reason I wanted to have quick connects on it is, especially the connection that went in there, it was plastic. And I know after turning it on, off so many times as you go camping, which we like to go camping, or maybe I should say I like to go camping, it's gonna get threaded. So I would have a problem with that. And so it's much easier just to put those quick connects on there. And one thing, when you do get a quick connect, which I've got show notes in the bottom of this for all the components, make sure you get a lead-free one. I prefer to have the brass ones because they seem like they hold up a little better, because the plastic ones, I've used those in the past and they would just break down on me. As you've seen probably on my earlier videos, when I did one on sewer line connections and what I did and how I put them together, I have my sewer box and I have my water box, and they're, you know, where all my parts go in there, which it actually has the wand that I use for working out my hot water heater. It's got other quick connects just in case something goes wrong. Again, it's got both of the hoses in there, which sometimes I only use one. It's got gaskets. It's just got the odds and ends. And of course, my Lysol. I mean, that's the number one important thing in that box. So, if you want to have a good water connection, I would strongly suggest doing some quick connects. I would strongly suggest keeping everything in one place. And I would absolutely state, use your Lysol on your fittings when you go in, because you don't want to get sick on the road. It doesn't make things too fun. Well, I hope you've enjoyed, and I sure hope to see you next week.
If you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up.
Turn on your post notifications.
Put the comments down below. Subscribe and you make me happy.